Hi, my name is Ameer Hussain. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm the CEO and founder of Running Start. And something I'm excited to talk to you about today is, I'd love this opportunity to share my story and inspire any other young entrepreneurs that are out there to, go and do their thing.
Okay, amazing. So I'm excited to hear about that. We will get to that in a little bit. But for this particular question, I want to ask you something a little out of the box. If you were to give me a talent or a skill that you feel like you have that basically no one knows about you, what would that be?
I would say my talent is identifying in people, their greatest strengths. So whenever I'm speaking to someone who either I want to work with or, just to make part of my team or just, anything, or even just a friend, what's most important to me is, seeing what's their greatest strength and how they can, how that can fit, into the puzzle. So I guess that would be my greatest strength.
Very, very cool. Okay. We can kind of switch gears back to what you said earlier, which I'm very excited to learn about. If this is the answer to this, then please share.
Sure.
But my question is, what do you feel like is a personal project or accomplishment that you've worked on or are currently working on that you're really proud of?
Right. So in my freshman year of high school, when I first came in, I guess I kind of felt that high school was a bit overwhelming. There's a lot of, especially the school that I go to is very competitive.
Oh.
College admissions these days, as you might know as well, is crazy. Parents are doing, everything they can to put their kids in all these activities that they might not even be interested in. Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of that competitiveness at my high school. And I saw that it was actually almost a little bit unhealthy because, peers were actually trying to get ahead of their other peers by pushing them down, which I thought was, strange. And I guess I saw that and I struggled myself in my first year of high school, finding my place like everyone does, who to sit with at lunch, what classes to take, what extracurriculars, what career do I want to go into, what major am I going to pick? There's so many questions when you're starting out and there's so many options. So it seems very overwhelming. Yeah. So at the end of my freshman year, I decided that I didn't want anyone else to go through that overwhelming feeling alone, right? So I started Running Start, which is my just my business, and me and my sister co-founded it. Oh. And she had taken most of the, I guess, science classes at the high school, and I had taken most of the business classes as well as a certain select APs that she didn't, right. As well as the the sports side where she'd done more of the the robotics clubs and that sort of thing. So together we were able to kind of have an experience of, what the high school curriculum is. And we basically provided incoming eighth graders who are incoming freshmen, that experience of how to pick their own classes, how to, make sure which teacher is right. It was kind of that insider knowledge of what high school is all about. Yeah. So, and then through that, when they come in, it's no longer this overwhelming feeling, but rather you have a Running Start mentor, which is your kind of your best friend inside of high school, and who's able to offer that practical advice.
Very
so
cool.
that's how we started out, and in the first year it was going well, but then I think around in my junior year we picked up, and now we've served I'm proud to say we've served over 250 students. So.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah. So you are what grade again? So
now I'm a senior in high school. So I actually, and I don't know should I do a little background, but
go ahead.
Okay. So I did leave my high school in my, at the end of my junior year, I decided to do another program which allowed me to take only community college classes.
Oh, okay.
So since I'd finished my high school credits, I was able to spend this year just completing my gen eds. Okay. And what that will allow me to do is graduate college in 2 years instead of 4. So basically, I did have to leave my high school, but in return, it also gave me the opportunity to do a bunch of internships and extracurriculars. So that's been a really great experience so far.
Very cool. Was that in terms of the challenge of it all, being so young and starting something that big? Yeah. How do you feel like you kind of had navigated that at first?
So time management is extremely important. And what I learned how to do, or what I was forced to learn how to do very quickly, as because my schedule went from nothing really there to a bunch of things. Right. So what I learned how to do was like time block. I schedule every single day ahead of time, sometimes every single week. And that had really helped me. So I learned how to, kind of map out, kind of backtrack, and say, what are the tasks for this week or this month?
Yeah.
What are my goals? And then kind of little bit of time each day to actually reaching those things.
If you were to kind of give a piece of advice to someone who wants to do something similar, what would you tell them?
Yeah. So, immediately when I was starting, I didn't know. I've always been entrepreneurial since I was a kid. I remember the first venture that I ever had was I was obsessed with Harry Potter as a kid. And everyone was in my grade, and everyone was reading the books. So I did that market analysis. I was like, okay, everyone's reading it. And what I did was I made these wooden dowels, these like sticks, and I put aluminum foil on them. I put a finger light on it, and I called it a Harry Potter wand. And I sold each one for $10.
Wow.
So I made my first $1,000 doing that, and that was like a rush for me because it was like I can make something, I can give it to people, they'll like it, seeing their faces light up when a Harry Potter wand, and they're running around the school. So that was my first rush. Ever since then, starting things and trying to scale them up or trying to do something with it, that's kind of like my obsession. I'd say.
Very cool. So okay, where do you want to go in the future with your entrepreneurial skills?
Yeah, so actually one day I would really love to be a lawyer. So that's actually why I'm trying to graduate in 2 years instead of 4, because then I can go straight to law school.
Nice.
But I would say even using an understanding of the law helps you kind of understand the system itself, which as an entrepreneur is extremely helpful. So I don't know what my next venture will be, but I'm currently doing for me the most important thing is experience. So advice to younger people who want to start or think that I'm only 14, I can't start a business or it won't go anywhere. Is go pick up skills, right? Like for me right now, I'm doing an internship at an AI company. I don't know anything about AI, but I'm learning market research, and I'm doing market research for them, and it pays very little, but that's not the important thing, is that experience. So will it come in handy down the line? Maybe. And for young people who want to start anything that you're interested in, see how you can benefit other people. If there's a problem that you can solve, it's very likely that someone will pay you to solve that problem. So, and once you get good at solving that problem, then you can actually teach other people how to solve it, and then you're more hands off. So that with Running Start, I actually don't run very many sessions anymore myself. I've hired other high schoolers to do it.
Nice.
So but that comes from learning exactly how to solve that problem yourself and then teaching others too.
What do you think is the one thing that you, throughout this whole process, what do you think is the one thing that you are very grateful for learning? I know there's so many, and obviously every lesson learned is something that you use along the line, but what is the one thing that you really feel like this is what's going to help me? You can't do it alone. I think that's something that was a really important lesson for me, which is that you really need the support of the people around you, and relationships are extremely important. So where you spend time, and it actually matters which relationships you're fostering. If you're spending a lot of time in relationships which are, with people who aren't bringing you up or, I guess building you in any sort of way, then you should, reanalyze who you're surrounding yourself with. So when you find people who truly, love you and care about you and they care about your growth, spending time around those people, it grows you yourself. So I'd say the biggest thing in this past year is that I actually haven't been able to be around people my age. Not that there's anything wrong with people my age, but I've actually been forced to be in work environments with all adults who are over 30 years old, and what comes from that is just a different mindset. They're kind of already in the real world, versus when you're in high school, you're focusing on just the next dance or the next thing that's going on. So it's not a bad thing to do that, but it just simply expands your horizon for what you think is out there and what's possible. So
I would say that, you're the sum of the people that you surround yourself with. And it's also important to have those good relationships because that's what keeps you going.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect answer. Okay, well, I loved hearing about that. That's an insane accomplishment for someone who is obviously so young, and so I have no doubt that you will do great things down the line. But you mentioned earlier that you want to study law, so I guess this is a good segue to my next question, which is, when I say the word education, what is the first thing that comes to your head?
Yeah. What I think is important education-wise is every class that you involve yourself in, everything matters, right? I said earlier that the more skills you acquire, the better, and that's because one tiny thing that you might learn might actually you go down the line and you connect the dots that you actually needed that. Right. So. A famous example is Steve Jobs, took a typography class and he dropped out of college, but he took a typography class that ended up being the outline for the Mac. So what I think is important is whether it's a history class, a math class, a science class that you might hate, there's going to be something in there that eventually applies. The more things the more you're able to do. As an entrepreneur, there's no single venture. It's not always that thing that you're passionate about. Sometimes it's something that you know nothing about. Yeah. But the more that you're able to be a more dynamic, I guess, individual. Yeah. So education, it opens doors, and the more you, I guess, like apply yourself to it, right, is when you actually get the benefit of it. Right. If he wasn't paying attention in that typography class, he might not have been able to apply that later on. Yeah. So A's and B's aside, down the line, it actually might have even more benefit than you were expecting it to. Yeah. So I guess that's how I'd view it. Yeah, no,
that's a great way to view it. I think a lot of people think like the school system, at least, is just like, I'm trying to reach a goal that's at like a piece of paper, essentially. Exactly. And obviously grades don't like a letter or a number doesn't define you, but it's the what's the word? Like, you're trying to grasp information, not
your application of yourself to it. Exactly. And teachers and professors see that as well. Yeah. If you truly like care about what you're studying, and it's not always easy to, because sometimes we're just generally not interested in that subject. Yeah. But if we can find something about it that interests us, or an application of it that interests us, that's normally what is able to allow us to apply ourselves into. Yeah,
100%. My mom always used to tell me, just make studying fun, even if you hate the class.
No, exactly.
But it worked.
and that's what we tell all of our students so that goes back to Bandura's theory of self-efficacy, which is that, if you believe that it's easy, it will naturally start to undo it itself. Yeah. So like my mom always used to say with a math problem, right, is first write down what you know, and then tell yourself that you love math. You love math. And then you keep repeating that, and then eventually your brain thinks, oh, I do. So that's the secret.
It's a mind game. It really is. Okay, so kind of going off of this question, do you have a topic or a skill that you feel like should be taught in majority of schools that just isn't?
Yeah, like just generally? Mm-hmm. Yeah, financial...
literacy?
Literacy, yeah. That's it.
That's it. No.
It's crazy. I'm lucky to have parents that taught me it early, and they we got into trading stocks when I was maybe like 10 years old. So ever since we had any savings or anything put aside for any holiday, we put it away in a stock account. So I learned about but stocks isn't financial literacy, but how to budget, a balance sheet, how to do your taxes. Yeah, it's actually something that I actually took at Del Norte High School. I was able to take a finance class, and it taught you how to do if you're doing a 1099 versus a W9, like these are things that no one teaches you. No. What's withholding, but you have to do it, and it's like. That's important. I would say that needs to be taught.
I agree with you. I was like a month ago, I learned how to do a balance sheet because I had to, because it was in one of my accounting classes. Right. I was like, I hate this so much.
No, and with running a business too, accounting is like a big part of it. And
the biggest part,
if you're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you need to have to do it yourself.
Yes, so exactly.
Okay,
so switching gears a bit, tell me about someone who you feel like has left a really large impact on your life and why.
Yeah, my best friend, who was back in New York, because we moved here, he taught me to always be kind, and he never said that, but it was just his way. Yeah. And I think when you see that, it's extremely powerful. So I was very proud of him for, you know, how kind he always was, and I always keep that with me. So I'd say that, you know, just applying kindness is, you know, you can never go wrong.
Yeah,
so.
100%. I think it's harder to be nice.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes it more worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know we've covered a lot. This next question is, if you could pick like a certain social issue or like a cause that you're really passionate about, what would it be?
Yeah. I would say what's really important to me right now is the conflict in Gaza. I would say that's probably the biggest thing that you know that I'm behind. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, you know, I do a little bit of charity whenever I can, but apart from that, you know, it's hard to do anything because it's like you can only want our political leaders to do something about it. Yeah. But it's just sad that how those people are being treated, and I'd say that's something you know, I guess it stays on my mind.
Okay, so my next question is, I know we kind of talked about this earlier, but if you have like another one, or if you want to elaborate further on the one we already spoke about, what do you feel like has been a large challenge or like a series of challenges that you've had to go through within your life that has really shaped you to who I'm speaking to today? Yeah,
I'd say self-esteem. Okay. I was actually very, I wouldn't say shy, but I've always been quite hard on myself. And as a kid, I always had a vision of, you know, how I should be, and I guess that, you know, there were also, I guess, there were kids, you know, and you know, kids are mean, and I'd say it was pretty bad for me coming from like New York. I like grew up on the East Coast in New York City, and when I moved here to San Diego, there was I was like one brown kid in the entire you know, white class, and white school. Honestly, it's way more diverse now, but I mean, there were just scenarios that really hurt my self-esteem, and I, you know, thought that maybe I'm not as good as them, or I felt less. Yeah. And I'd say that once I kind of learned, stepped into myself a little more, and you know, realized how much I had to offer, that never really bothered me again. Yeah. I would say that I definitely know my worth. Yeah. Do you think there's something that you wish like your younger self would have loved to hear? Yeah. I'm proud of you. I think I never heard it enough. Yeah. And I think, I just would like to tell him that, you know, that I'm proud of you, and because, you know, exactly. Yeah. No one's told him, so I would like to tell him that. Yeah. That's important. I think he would be proud of you too. Do you have anything like you particularly want to talk about in terms of like adding to your application? No, well, I guess I would say that it would definitely help me in, you know, for my dream to go to law school as well, because I would have 2 years kind of shaved away. It would allow me to graduate faster, but you know, and that would you know, of course, help with the tuition money, because law school is expensive, so 100%. I'm saving up for that as well. But I guess I would add that. Do you have a particular area in law that you want to really work in? Not exactly. I think divorce law would be very interesting. Oh, interesting. Family law, because again, I can advocate for those who are, you know, not in a good position. Yeah. But do you have like people in your life that are lawyers, or like is that something that you just... No, I'd be the only lawyer in the family. Oh, okay. But I think my parents have always, or like everyone in my family has always said that, you know, don't let Ameer become a lawyer, because he's very persuasive. He'll free all the criminals. Oh, no. So I won't be a defense lawyer, but because just for them. So.
Just for them. Okay, well, if you don't have anything else that you want to talk about, that was kind of the last of the questions. Sure. But I hope that you found this process a little comfortable. Yeah. I know, intimidating. It gets really hot in here. Yeah. But I hope that you enjoyed the process and that this was fun.
It was fun.
But yeah, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey YouTube, if you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!